Now, scale versus taking measurements. The scale lies. Okay, maybe it doesn't lie, but it's not a complete indicator of your health or your progress through this challenge. So what I want you to do is on day one, you could do it today before you've started your products, because we want just a kind of a before and after. So today or sometime before the 1st, go ahead, step on the scale, write that number down, take a moment, put it down on your daily diary. Just make a spot, put it in the activity or the how do you feel stuff. You can go ahead and write it down there so you have that starting point. And then, so you'll have your scale measurement, but I also want you to go get a measuring tape and I want you to measure some key areas on your body. I want you to measure, just make sure when you do this you have the same bra on every time. So I want you to measure your bust. I want you to measure your waist, so that's going to be going around where your belly button is. I want you to measure your hips. Pick the widest area right now, but make sure that you know how to get there again when it's maybe not the widest again at a different time. Okay, so make sure that you're always measuring in the same spot when we do these measurements. But we're not going to measure often. So that's one of the things that I want you to know. You could do the minimum and do those 3 areas, okay? Bust, waist, and hips. Some things that you can add, because our body carries weight in all different places, right? So some things that you can add is to measure your bicep. You're going to take on your bicep right in the middle, if I can get my shirt up. So make your muscle, measure right in the middle. Relax it when you're measuring, but do it right in the middle. And then right in the middle of your thigh. The thigh is a little bit harder for me to remember exactly where was it last time I measured. But try to find kind of that biggest part of your thigh. Maybe you measure 3 inches down from your crotch or something like that to give you that one point where you know that you can measure. What I found when I started on Triplex 2 years ago was the scale, it did move. It didn't move quick, but it did move, but my measurements moved faster. So I was able to measure every few weeks and see on paper what I didn't see on the scale. And I was able to look at myself in my clothes and see, because I took before and after pictures too, and I highly recommend that as well. You don't have to do it in your bra and panties, but put something on that's tight enough for you to be able to see the rolls and see the things that are gonna go away, okay? I definitely can tell a difference between that first picture and all the puffiness around my face and in my neck and around my midsection, that now, even though I'm not where I want to be, I still have more that I would really like to lose. I'm nowhere near where I was. I'm 20 pounds lighter, but there are some times when the mind plays little tricks on us and we see ourselves in the mirror and we don't remember what it was, okay? And so that's where taking a picture, and then at the end of this challenge, we'll do a picture again and we'll get on the scale and measure again. And so I want you to have that before and after, because looking at yourself every single day, you're not going to see the results most likely unless you really start seeing how your clothes are fitting looser and things like that, noticing those types of things. But it's so much easier to see it when you can see actual numbers on paper and say, hey, I lost 2 inches around each thigh. I lost 1.5 inches around each bicep. I lost 2 inches off my breasts, and 4 inches off my waist, and 3 more inches off my hips, and things like that, that I think it'll be highly likely you can see. So go ahead and do that on your first daily diary. Go ahead and write down what the scale said and then those measurements. And I'll post a separate comment about the measurements so that it's easier to remember what all you need to measure.